Okay, so it's 6:02. I think we've waited enough for people to join. If other people join later, they'll just come in when they come in. Okay, so I just want to say welcome everybody. This is the community meeting for uh, file number GP 22-004 and C 22-015, which is a general plan amendment and a rezoning for the property at the northeast corner of Doyle Road and Lawrence Expressway. I will be presenting today. My name is Laura Maurer. I am the project manager for these two files. I'm joined by Sunita Gosal, who is the supervising planner for the general plan team, Court Hitchens, who is the CEQA planner with the city, reviewing the CEQA documents, Scott Connolly, who is the applicant for the project, as well as their CEQA consultant, Allison. This meeting is being held on a Zoom. It starts at 6. I don't anticipate it'll go to 7. So whenever we're done with comments, the meeting will end. We don't actually have a Q&A for the Zoom today, so we are just going to be waiting till the end and you can use the raise hand feature to ask questions at the end. So you're going to be placed on mute initially, and you will only be able to unmute once you have raised your hand at the end. If you're joining by phone, then you can press *9 on your phone, and that'll let us know that you want to speak. Since we have just a few people, we won't actually limit the time on speaking unless it gets excessively long, but we're not going to limit to our normal 2 minutes. Okay, and just a little agenda of how this meeting is going to go. We're just going to provide a little bit of background on general plan amendments and rezonings. Then we'll go into more of the specifics of the proposed general plan amendment and the conforming rezoning. And then we'll take time for public comments and answer any questions. And then we'll just discuss briefly the next steps in the process, and then we will adjourn. So first we'll discuss some of the background. So a lot of people don't understand what is a general plan land use designation and what is a general plan. So the general plan is the official policy document of the city that dictates sort of the plan for the city going forward into the long-term future. And this can look at things like character, land use patterns, and the kinds of development that the city would like to see. We've had several general plans over the years, as you can see by the pictures on the bottom. Our latest general plan was adopted in 2011, and that is the Envision San Jose 2040 general plan. And sorry, I got some pictures in the way. And so part of this is these different land use designations for the properties within the city. So each individual property within the city has a specific general plan land use designation. It's a little hard to see on this picture, but up in the corner, there's a little map legend that kind of describes the different kinds of land use designations. The bright yellow one that you see a lot of on this map is residential neighborhood, which is typically our single family houses, which covers a good majority of the city. And you'll also see the light green area, which covers a lot of the area, which is our open hillside area, which is our like natural area or open space area, the area that's not destined to become any development in the future. And so what we have coming before us today is a general plan amendment. But how does a general plan amendment differ from zoning? So the difference between a general plan land use designation and a zoning district designation is that the general plan is a little more broad, and it kind of dictates what we would like to see in the future. And specifically, it can look at things like density, which is measured as dwelling units per acre, or but for floor area ratio, which is the amount of square footage divided by the amount of square footage of the parcel to get sort of a footprint of the building. And it talks about some side of the uses that you can find that are allowed on the site. The zoning kind of gets more into the nitty-gritty specifics of the site. So it goes into more detail of the exact list of uses that are allowed, but it also looks at things like setbacks, heights, parking requirements, any of those kinds of things. And just to note too, part of the reason that we're doing both right now, we're doing a general plan amendment and a rezoning, is because in 2018, the California Senate passed Senate Bill 1333, which requires all cities in California to have a conforming zoning district to the general plan land use designation. So we have a list in our immunity code that distinguishes what is considered the conforming district for certain general plan land use designations. And so now when people change the general plan land use designation, they typically often need to also change the zoning district so that they conform, so that we're in compliance with state law. So the general plan amendment is basically the process of changing the land use designation on the site. It's a once a year process when it's initiated by private entities. Typically people apply in around March of this of 1 year. They submit it to the city. It goes under review by city staff, and then the CEQA document is also worked on between the CEQA consultant and the CEQA project manager from the city. And then we also hold things like this, the community meeting, so that we can inform the community about what are the changes going on, and so that we can get input from the community about how they feel about the changes. Then in about November, December this year, this general plan amendment and rezoning is likely to go to the planning commission hearing. And then in either December or January, we should be going to city council. City council is the final hearing body who will make the final decision on whether or not to approve the general plan amendment and the rezoning. So getting into a little more specifics. So the area that is in light blue and labeled site is the site that we're talking about today. It's about 1.1 gross acres. It is currently a vacant lot, and it is surrounded on the north and east by storage yards, to the south by a bit of vacant land plus some single family homes, and then to the west there is Saratoga Creek and some more single family residences. So like we were talking about the general plan land use designation, the current land use designation of this site is public, quasi-public. This is a very broad land use designation that can allow a lot of different types of uses. These are typically what we find a lot of public uses. So that includes things like schools, colleges, hospitals, libraries, a lot of city uses like city hall or other libraries, things like that. It can also have permanent supportive housing, which it is the only kind of housing that is allowed on this land use designation. And when it is allowed at 100 dwelling units per acre. And there are no FAR requirements because it has such a large range of types of uses. There's no minimum or maximum to allow for a wide range of uses. And this can be found pretty much anywhere throughout the city. The proposed general plan use designation that the applicant would like to change to is light industrial. This is can include a variety of industrial uses, but these are typically ones that do not include any sort of hazardous or nuisance effects. Most of our hazardous or nuisance effects would fall under our heavy industrial light general plan land use designation, but this is a light industrial one. So typical uses that we find in light industrial would be things like warehouses, wholesaling, light manufacturing. There is no density because there is no housing allowed on light industrial, and it allows an FAR of up to 1.5. The other side of this then is the rezoning. So the current zoning district on this site is R18, which is single family residence. And as we can see, this is one of those where if there wasn't a general plan amendment and a rezoning going on already, the city would be initiating a rezoning on this property because R18 single family is not a conforming district for the PQP general plan land use designation. So an R18 single family is mostly just for single family residences. There are a few home-based commercial uses that are allowed, but it's essentially mostly just for single family homes. It allows up to about 8 dwelling units per acre, or if the surrounding neighborhood has a higher density, it can go up to about 16 dwelling units per acre. and allows an FAR of up to 0.70 and a maximum height of 35 feet. And then the proposed zoning district is LI, which is the conforming zoning district for the light industrial general plan land use designation. Has very similar requirement standards. So there again is no density. The FAR is up 1.5. The maximum height is about 50 feet. And it goes into a little more specifics on the actual uses allowed. So things like manufacturing, mini storage, construction yards, warehouses, commercial kitchens, equipment sales, vehicle storage, data centers, car repair, amongst a few others. And then just to note, the sites that are to the north and slightly to the east are currently storage yards, and those have the general plan land use designation of PQP. So those sites will be rezoned by the city to the PQP zoning district. And with that, we can conclude and move on to public comment. So if anybody has any questions about what we've discussed, please use the raise hand feature at the bottom of the Zoom app, and Sanita will call on you and we will listen to your comments and answer any questions you may have.
I do not see any hands yet. Okay, so I see Ellen Park. Give me 1 second. All right, you should be able to, yes, unmute yourself and talk. Go ahead.
Okay, so as a resident of Happy Valley, the community, I'm strongly opposed to this like a proposal, rezoning from the like a single residence area to light the industrial area. I was just just watching that area being like in sale for a long time, but because of the high interest of the current like economics, like ROI of the building the like single houses will not be like a little the difficult. Yeah, so it's like a more economic situation. And I think like at some point like a like a like a interest rate will be down, and there will be like a the more like the economic value for like a single houses. And also like if we actually there are a lot of traffic on the Doyle and Lawrence, and if we add like a the like industrial the one like for like a warehouse or for stories whatever it is, or open kitchens, there will be more traffic for that. So unless we have a proper planning for those like the preventing those kind of side effect of changing zoning, I don't think that we should change it.
Great.
Thank you for your comment, Ellen.
And also, I have one more question.
Yeah, sure.
So who owns that the land? Is it city or like is it
The
private?
city does not own that land. I think Scott can maybe answer that question.
Hi, Ellen. Thank you for your time and your thoughtful comments. Appreciate everybody being on the call tonight. My company, Valley Oak Partners, is the owner of the property. We purchased it back in about October of 2021.
Okay, but you like it was in sale for a while. So you were trying to sell that like the like a land to any other like the like a business who are interested to build like a single houses.
Well, we do have a sign on the property, and we would consider selling it. But we are also in the process of this rezone and general plan amendment. And so if we do not find a buyer for it, we will look to redevelop the site. Either way, we feel like
Mhm.
the zoning change and general plan amendment is needed for the property, and that's why this is in front of you tonight at the vehicle of our community meeting.
Yeah, so basically my overall impression is like yeah, economy is changing, and because of a current situation, high interest, it's really hard to sell, and because of that economic situation, changing zoning, for that only reason, it doesn't make any sense.
I appreciate your feedback.
Yeah. I'll just note
Yes.
too that even if this proposed general plan amendment and rezoning change did not go through, the site will still be rezoned and no longer be an R18 and will become a PQP zoning district because that is what the state law requires the city to do. So even if the LI is not pushed through or approved, it will no longer have the R18 zoning district on it, which means it would only allow at most permanent supportive housing. Not single family housing, just to clarify.
Yeah, understood.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Ellen, for your comments. So if you are done, could you please lower your hands?
Yep.
All right. Is there anybody else who want to give their comments? There's someone on phone, so I do not know if you know how to unmute yourself. But I don't know if they can raise their hands though.
Yeah, you can dial *9 on your phone and that would raise
Yeah.
your hand if you wanted to speak, and then we could unmute you. But
Is there any other question from anyone else or any comments? Okay.
oh,
We're
it
just
looks
going
like
to wait for one more minute and then, we can do the next steps. Okay, so we have Rosemary coming. So let me, okay, we have, okay, the person on phone also. So there you go. Rosemary, you should be able to. Yeah, there you go. Unmute yourself. Yes.
Um, I I represent District 1
Yeah,
on
right.
the council, and I know that there may be others who would like this information. So can you make this information available? And I assume it's going to be on the city website. Is that correct? I just want to confirm that so that I can let people know about it.
so the presentation. Are you talking about the presentation or just general
Yes.
info?
Yes, the presentation.
The presentation. I don't think we standard to like add it to our YouTube channel, but if we have requests for that, I can make sure that that gets made. We did that in the past before, so I can make sure to save the presentation portion of this either as a video file so you can watch it actually being read, but also can be saved as a PDF, just the slides and everything as well. And then if anybody is interested here, they could reach out to me and I can send that. I'll have my information at the end of this presentation. But I can prepare that. It may take me a few days to get the video portion saved and properly able to be sent out. But yeah, anybody can email me and I can send that information. I don't think we have a place on the website right now, but I can
No.
also find out if we can get it put on the YouTube channel that we have for the city for some of our meetings, and then if
We
that's
do
possible.
not. We do not put these meetings on that YouTube channel. The only way to get these meetings would be to email Laura, like what she just explained.
Okay, if you send me the presentation, I will put it on my information website and
Okay.
and let the community know this is the presentation. If they have any extra, questions, that they could connect with Laura.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
Awesome.
very much.
Thank you.
problem.
All right. The person on the phone 408-420-9233. I am going to. So you should be able to. unmute yourself by dialing *9 maybe again. Try that.
I think you might be able to put unmute her or
I
them. I don't know.
did. Yeah. Yeah, they have permission to talk. It says ask to unmute. So I think maybe try dialing *9 one more time and see if that works. I don't see any other option on my end. Laura, do you see anything?
I'm just looking. Hold on.
Yeah. I see it says remove permission to talk, which means they have
Yeah.
permission right now.
Yeah, no. I mean, whoever's on the phone, if we can't get this to work, you're definitely free to,
Call Laura.
email me or call me. I'll have my contact information and then you can provide comment to us to be able to, have your comment on the record if you'd prefer.
Laura, can you give your phone number right now so that
Yeah.
the person can write it down maybe, if
Yeah.
possible?
Sure. My phone number is 408-535-3839. And then I'll also have on the slides after. And I'll have that up.
Go ahead. Yeah, Laura would not be able to respond, just to clarify, respond right now, but if you leave a message, she'll call you back tomorrow or Monday or.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anyone else who has any comments for us? Okay. Since there is no one else, I see Ellen's hand. Since there is no one else, I'm going to give her chance to speak again. Ellen, you are unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to know the next step. So yeah, from what I heard from different the website or Google, the rezoning is extremely difficult for
Sure.
the individuals, and it should go through the proper steps. So what kind of steps we are going to have? Is there any voting the process?
So
For
yeah,
residents to give options to vote.
yeah. So
Or
we will give you those on the next slide. That's what we're going to get into. Like
Okay.
what's the next steps in the process?
Yeah. That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Okay, seeing no other hand, I am going to say that, Laura, let's go to the next slide and tell everyone the next steps.
Okay. So right now we are still currently reviewing the general plan amendment and the rezoning for how it conforms with our general plan policies and goals. We're going to take your community input and help put this into a report that we send to the Planning Commission and City Council. We are also still working on the CEQA analysis. So the initial study negative declaration is nearly finished and will circulate probably sometime this month or next month. And then the next step would be going to Planning Commission. So at Planning Commission, the community can come to the meeting. It's a hybrid meeting, so you can either come in person to the meeting or you can join via Zoom. And there is a similar comment period like now where you can provide your comment to the Planning Commission to let them know how you feel about the project. And the staff will provide a recommendation to the Planning Commission on whether we feel it should be a recommend approval or recommend denial. And then after the Planning Commission then recommends to let City Council know whether they think it should be approved or denied. And then it goes to City Council, likely in December or January. And again, this is a hybrid meeting that you can either come to in person or you can attend via Zoom. We will be sending out hearing notices again, so you'll get a very similar notice in the mail, probably about a couple weeks before the Planning Commission hearing, and it'll have the dates for both the Planning Commission meeting and the City Council meeting. And so once it goes to City Council, they are the actual decision-making body, so they are the ones that it will either approve or deny the general plan amendment and the rezoning. And so if you have any questions, again, you can contact me. My name is Laura Maurer. That my email is on the slide as well as my phone number. And then you can, if you have any questions about the CEQA documents, you can contact Court Hitchens at his email or phone number provided. We do recommend, if possible, email because we do work a hybrid schedule, so we're not always in the office. And then we also have, if you have any other questions, you can contact Scott as well. And with that, we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you at the next Planning Commission meeting.
Is there any question about the process or how to contact?
Okay.
Okay, seeing none, we are going to adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody, for attending this evening.
Thank you, everybody.